Welcome back to Daily Discussion. So I was watching a podcast, listening to a podcast by Nick Bare, who is a endurance slash hybrid athlete. And I was watching it because he had just got done watching or listening to another podcast episode of his, where he was talking about things that he would change if he could start back over, or things that he learned that would have improved his ability to grow faster. And one of them was how he went about building his cardiovascular endurance step by step, and he would start it in a different way. So I got onto this one that I was listening to today, was talking about how to build that cardiovascular endurance and building up his running in a more smart way, in a more intelligent way. Now, what I thought was interesting was somebody made a comment after he said something to the effect of controlling your nutrition and diet and the way you are intaking food, especially leading up to and how it should differ when you're training by getting ready for the race actually. And this guy made a comment about how he thinks it's misleading that you have full control of that, because sometimes people are just struggling to put peanut butter and ramen noodle on the table. But that guy is still wrong in many aspects, because it doesn't really matter if you can afford the highest price, highest quality foods. You still have control in what you do actually purchase. So you can still buy the highest quality that you can afford. Doesn't mean that you have to buy the top ring, everything, but you can still make improvements. You don't have to go to the bottom of the barrel, most likely. And if you are, well, then you're probably not the target audience for him anyway, which means it's not really something that he's talking to you about specifically. So if that's not you and you are capable of making those choices, then really all you're doing when you're fighting this is just making more excuses of why you don't want to do those things, because it might be tough, it might be challenging, and it may not sit well with you mentally initially. But that's exactly why you got to work through it and work with a coach, work with somebody else to build that strength and endurance to go through that part of it. Because yes, that is tough, it is hard, it's challenging. That doesn't mean you can't make improvements. Even if you can't afford the top shelf stuff, that doesn't mean that you can't modify and change things to get better quality stuff, regardless of what your financial status is. So anyway, hope that helps somebody else. And like I said, if you ever want to discuss this further and start using those excuses to stop your progress, reach out, let's have that conversation.